I'm Connie Gartner, secretary.
I'm Sarah Patterson, vice president.
I'm Norma Paul, treasurer.
I'm Margie Gray, member.
Brian Johnson.
I'm Ted Gardner. I'm Ted Gardner.
Andy Drodes. Just State.
I think you have to tell me your units to make sure I get. Oh, I don't need to put that in the minutes. Okay, so all right. But if people make comments, do I need to get their unit numbers? I can just write down they made a comment.
If that's a comment minutes,
Okay.
they requested and or you feel it should be,
Okay, all right.
All right. You said, oh, Gary. We have, thank you very much. We have next
Nancy Rowan, 205. Harleen Conley, 202.
Janice Baker, 208.
Thanks everyone for coming. Appreciate your participation. We really are interested in what you have to say. We don't usually get this kind of a turnout. In fact, it's usually just the five of us invited. So we're happy to have you. Thanks for coming. We go right into 20 minutes of homeowner comments. And so I think John usually brings some that come from email, and we usually do that first. And then we go to the audience. If you have comments, you would raise your hand and you would give your comment.
Laurel, can you move back maybe, and maybe your voice would...
you know what, let me just trade places with Laurel, and that way she can still sit at the table and I can sit on that end, because I have the book right up.
Why don't you all move closer? Okay.
A number of homeowners that had sent some emails, and so I'll go over them. We have some homeowners that were actually concerned about the spray painting and the signs, and were interested in that. They didn't actually voice an opinion one way or the other for the removal of grass and or the keeping of the grass, but they are more interested about the signs. Those homeowners were unit number 222 and 236.
Am I supposed to write that down?
You don't have to.
Okay.
We invited them to this meeting and explained to them what our plan was and sent it over to them. We did have some homeowners that had responded. Miss Arlene Conley, who's here tonight, she provided an email and had expressed the desire to thank you for being kind.
I served on this board, and I appreciate everything that you guys do. I know that you make decisions in the absence of feedback for most people. And I appreciate that.
Thank you. And so you simply said, is there a way to hold off on the grass until we have a chance to discuss it further? And you had voiced your desire to keep the grass.
Yes.
And also desire to see some type of newsletter.
Yes.
Okay, so that's that homeowner comment. Mr. Pete McSpaden in unit number 104 sent an email. It was rather short. He just said that he couldn't make it to tonight's meeting, but that he would rather keep the grass rather than convert it to desert landscape. We had unit number 203, who also responded last night and then this morning, and she voiced her opinion to keep the grass. And then we had unit number 204, who also responded and voiced their opinion to convert it to gravel. And so they thought that would be a good choice. They also mentioned a few other landscape issues that they would like to have corrected, and violation issues that they would like to have corrected. So, and then we have Mr. State Senior had responded to us as well, and had given a number of issues, all of which I believe have been addressed, and or we are still waiting for a response from the board. Again, he would like the update from landscaping like the other homeowners, voiced his opinion for grass, had a few requests for some trees along that back building over there, building A. And then he had a few other suggestions in here, which I had forwarded on. I don't know if everybody else had gotten that. Okay, so you guys did get that? Okay. And then he also has an outstanding architectural request that we need to make a decision on for the sun's shade. So those issues you had brought up. And those are the homeowners' comments that I have. It is entirely possible that I missed somebody, so if I did, please let me know.
Unit 106, the owners, I believe they're in transit, and the son will notify them as soon as they get to a computer so they can send a response, but they also are in favor of the grass. And the owner under me, 105, he's out of the country, but the parents are the owners, and they're being contacted. I don't know if they've responded. They're in favor of grass, but
Hi, welcome. Introduce yourself.
My name is Lisa Quorum,
Hey,
and
Lisa.
I'm in Unit 203.
Okay, we did get your comment into the record. Okay, did you want to make any other part?
Other than the fact that when I moved in, or purchased 6-7 years ago, the grass was beautiful. It was one of the things that attracted me to the property. So I really hate to see it go. And I just wanted to know why.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you coming. Then, are there other people here that want to make comments?
May I submit an exhibit of what the original landscaping was?
So this is in front of what unit?
hers.
My unit 202 is right dead
West
center
side.
of building in.
How long ago was that grass taken?
That grass was taken, I moved in 2000, and I think it was taken out around 2003, 2004.
It's been that way for 10 years.
Yeah, and I've been arguing ever since. I know. I'm the thorn in your side. I'm the one. That was why I joined the HOA. Was because I wanted to learn how things worked and have a voice in the landscaping.
So actually, I was on the board when that decision was made. And it
I was there
made-
too.
It was made because the grass wouldn't grow under the trees. And we had the same issue like in that dip over there. In the summertime, it looks horrible and people complain about dirt. And so that's why, it wasn't like we said, oh, we're gonna get rid of grass and make everything desert.
No,
It was
that's
like
true,
there was
that's
an
true.
issue that we were trying to fix because it was, people said either you get rid of the trees and you can have your grass, or you change that so you don't have that dirt. And we were saying we love our trees. So it wasn't about let's get rid of the grass. It was about how do we deal with this bare dirt.
Yeah, and it kind of waterfalled from there because what happened was that we ended up losing both the tree and the gravel,
with
and,
the
and
trees
it
there.
wasn't intentional at all. It's lack of knowledge. We're not landscapers. We're not, people who do this on a daily basis. And what happened was when they put the gravel in, it held more heat and it caused the water system to be overloaded and the tree died. And so we kind of went from one extreme to the other, and that started a whole new set of worries, concerns, complaints, and it kind of
So was
steamrolled.
leaving it, just having it dirt, a desirable outcome?
We want grass and bushes.
Yeah, but if you have the tree and you can't have the grass, would you rather have the tree gone and have grass, or just have a tree and dirt?
Well, I think it's not going to be a concern for a while because that tree is so slow to grow. It's not offering much shade right now.
No, but back during that time.
But right here-
when that was a concern, would you have rather just had it dirt?
I would have rather put up with the grass being a little sparse and kept both the grass and the tree. What really got me more than anything else was the bushes were really beautiful, defining that. You can see in the exhibit here.
Yeah.
And I was under the impression that even when we put gravel in, I voted against it, that we were going to leave the bushes and we were going to take out the grass. And it ended up pulling up the bushes as well, and it just leaves a really bare edge to the building. So I don't know if we can get our grass back, but can we compromise maybe? That's why I'm here today, is because I understand, having been on the board, that there's whys, whats, wheres to everything. It's not just black and white.
Well, one problem is the groundwood that was used does hold heat. And
River rock.
Yeah, and this other is free. And we didn't make the decision. We had the landscape expert come out, and he approved everything we did for the place it was. So, I mean,
And
we really
since
put
then,
some time
hasn't
and
that
effort
stone
into
been
it.
replaced? The kind that caused the heat
That's,
to tree to
we're
die?
that's part of the plan right now.
Right,
They sprayed
okay.
down, they got these down. So we're putting this
So minutes ago.
One minute.
That picture was taken with the trees there.
Right.
Okay, we have someone that wants to make a comment.
When that picture was taken, because I moved in right about the same time she did, the trees were there. That's a picture with 3 other trees in the front.
Well, there's winter and there's summer. And the issue, and there's 2 different types of grasses. So you can see now all this grass looks great, but in the summer months, that's when we start to get the bare spots. So that's why the decision was made.
In 1 second, just let me make just one comment, because I haven't been here for 10 years. I've only been here for about 8, and lived here permanently for three and a half. So, from my perspective, this is all history. And so what we're trying to do as a board right now, this is a whole different board, and we've got different
that's
landscaping
true. Let's
company.
move forward.
We've got a tree expert that we have been consulting with. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to do what's best for this community. It has nothing to do with us.
Yeah.
None of us live in Building A. We're not making these decisions because this is what we want. We're trying to do what's best because we were elected to take care of this community for you, and that's what we're trying to do.
Well, what if you explain the decision? And actually, it wasn't about removing grass. It's not like, hey, we're going to take out all this grass. There's 3 areas, and I think there were reasons for those 3 areas. What were those reasons?
Very good reasons. And I would like Brian, who's studying landscape architecture, to show a little rendition of what he was trying to look at, because he was a little bit concerned too. He was wondering what was
It's a
going
very
on too.
clear drawing, but I guess I was confused because of the great opposition from it. I was expecting this to be some field of grass that we're talking about. I was kind of shocked to find out it was these 2 front little areas about the roundabout there. Honestly, if I lived in that building and they were talking about taking out the grass, I was assuming that it was all this grass and everything here. I was unaware it was those 2 little spots up front there, which I found out are causing problems. They're causing structural problems with the roundabout there. From what I understand, they've had to repair it twice because the water pools down there, and it basically, this heat, this asphalt, it rots that asphalt, which causes a hazard. And and I understand. I happen to have personal connections because I have someone in my family who is severely handicapped in a wheelchair, my niece. And the people who live in, what unit is that right in front there on that side? 137. From what I understand, that gentleman has to stop and get his wife out in a wheelchair right there. And where this asphalt is constantly having to be repaired, which is very expensive to do. And on top of that, the water from these areas runs down in there, and it makes that area wet all the time, which gets slimy, it gets moldy. You let water sit out, and it gets gross. And this man is having to deal with helping his wife, who's in a wheelchair, into a house in this area there, which is just, for no other reason alone than that, should be eradicated, that problem. But that's just my big confusion is it is these 2 little plots of area right there that we're talking about. I don't understand. It's not like they're losing their grass. If I lived on this side of the building, honestly, if someone changed that to stone, I don't know that I would have noticed it.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Brian. How long have you been here?
My family has lived here since they've been built. Yeah.
Okay. When I, like Arlene and Lisa, is it? I purchased I've been here almost 11 years, and I purchased primarily for the grass. It looked like a nice community. The grass was very important to me.
Oh, I agree.
The ambiance, what it creates, the look from the street. And again, I've heard the comments about hiring landscape people that perhaps didn't know what they were doing. I don't know who is responsible for that. How are these experts, so-called experts, checked? How is their credibility verified, whatever. It just seems to me that increasingly, number one, the stone that is out there that they've just started taking away, it's awful stone. There's nothing aesthetically pleasing about it. The trees and the bushes, well, I understand how the tree died, that's fine, but what Arlene had, I had grass when I first moved in. I had grass right there. Now that's all gone. And several years back when I don't really know what these bushes are called, but these yellow, just sort of grotesque, they grow completely out of shape. There's no balance to the front of the building. I mean, some of the other buildings, they're much more pleasing to look at. The outside of them, the one next to me, some of the backs here, they're much more pleasing to look at. The front of Building A is horrible.
It's funny you should say that. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but the other 6 buildings are very jealous of Building A. They
Well,
think Building A is the most
we have
beautiful.
a spot of grass over here, and that's all we have for this entire building. We don't
Pardon?
have any grass whatsoever. We have this little spot there.
Yeah, you have a lot of foliage in front. Well, that's an opinion. So actually, that's a good reason to get on the landscape committee because then you can be part of that direction.
Well, may I add, I canceled the meeting tonight to be here. So some of us, I also take exception to the fact that some of us have jobs where we don't necessarily have flexibility in terms of, can I take time off on a certain day? Can I be at a meeting? Right now, I'm able to work from home almost all the time, just for the next couple of, about 6 more weeks. But that doesn't mean that I don't do phone conferences, that I don't have appointments in the evening. I do. That's when my families are available. My families are available at 4, 5, 6, 7. I have to meet when they're available.
That's
So-
very understandable. I think there's a lot of people here that work full-time.
Exactly, and
I think
maybe
there's a lot
can't
of people
attend.
that on our board that work full-time.
And maybe they can't attend meetings at a time. Your comment to me was, well, the meetings are this particular time every month. It's not convenient for me this particular time.
And you're
every
always invited to send your comments. It's always acceptable to
Okay.
send your comments.
And secondly, I guess I would like to know, is there a website now, and is there a way to get meeting
So have you
minutes?
seen the newsletter? 'Cause think
No, I
it's either
haven't.
mailed or emailed.
Yeah.
You never get a newsletter.
Rarely.
So it comes
That's very
sometimes,
surprising.
sometimes it doesn't come.
Right.
It's been in the newsletter, I think, at least 2 times.
We can.
What is?
The website.
So meeting notes?
And also we put
Yeah,
we put it
I
out
would
here.
like them, are they,
They're posted
Is
right
it-
on the side of the building also.
is it possible, my question is it possible to have those minutes sent to us?
You had made that request to me, and the reason why I didn't send them to you is because I was just not approved was on there, and I was trying to get that off because we do approve them eventually. I didn't want to send you a bunch of copies that were approved that said not approved, and so we've gotten those. Connie sent that to me a couple weeks
Because
ago.
I think
Get on
it's
the website, Nancy, we can give you the address, because they're all on there, all the way back to last year.
Sure. And I think it's important that the entire,
CrestviewChateaux.com.
what is it?
CrestviewChateaux.com.
And then that'll get you all the minutes. That way.
Minutes, the CCNRs, the rules and regs, the
I have the
newsletter.
CCNRs. Thank you. And one other thought or comment is, what about other owners? The owners who are out of state, do they respond? And there's owners here. Do they reply?
We usually live in a vacuum, and nobody contacts us at all until something like this happens, and there seems to be an uproar.
Very rarely.
Because I lived in a condo before, and it was a community about this size, and we always, even if we were not able to attend the board meetings, we were at least able to participate in decisions. We were made aware of decisions, and I don't get that sense here. I don't get the sense at all. Pardon me?
How did they notify what was going on?
They sent letters. That was before emails.
You know, I've
we
been
do it
recently,
by email.
since my aunt and uncle passed away, I've been going through the house, and getting everything in order, and I found countless mailings from them with the newsletters and all that kind of stuff. So it seems odd, you know, maybe there's some mistake, but I don't think it's anything done intentionally.
Never did I get
Yeah.
one when,
Yeah.
you know.
I mean, do you guys get them in the mail?
I get the community letters.
Do you get them in the mail?
Yeah.
So yeah, there's obviously some error with on your part, unintentional, I'm sure.
Okay, because prior to Haywood, it was another realty company that I can't remember the name, but when I first, what was it?
Joe Mark.
Joe. I thought there was another one
There's
too,
one
but
before Joe Mark.
but
anyway,
at any
what-
rate, the point is that I typically keep things. I'm somebody that does
Yeah,
keep
so there just must be some
information.
error, I believe. You know, I can't imagine any other reason why I'm new to being. This week was made owner of this unit, and that I found all this stuff going through my uncle's stuff. That it just seems like there's some error that you're not receiving. And there is the website, and they are posted here too. So.
Well, again, I think that with, I'll try to get on the website. I think it's important. However, I'm on another board, and I understand people have very busy lives, and if you know,
We
if
do
you're,
too, Nancy. We have really
that's,
busy lives too.
I didn't qualify it and say me. I said people have very busy lives. That's what I said.
I know, and I
Okay,
and I think
and
you
you're-
need to realize
you're
that
one
we're all
of-
real busy, and we
You're a
come and work
population
for
too.
you.
You're a population too. You're part of the population, and the population that I'm referring to, people just are very busy sometimes, have all different means of social media, contacts, or whatever. Sometimes, perhaps the minutes, and I'm referring to the people maybe who live out of state, maybe the minutes get missed, maybe the contact information gets missed, maybe they don't look at their emails. I'm just wondering if any snail mail is ever used or not.
Can I just pause this so we can get back on task here? I mean, you brought up some good issues. I'm just going to separate them both into landscaping and communication.
Right,
Okay.
right.
So if that's okay with you.
Sure.
So back to landscaping, because I think that's why we have a group here tonight. Is there anything else we need to discuss that you want to get into?
I think one other thing you need to know about the trees, that sometimes they're lost, that we were explained by the arborist that has been working really closely with us, is that when this complex was built, there were many trees that were put in that were not the right kind of trees for Arizona. And a lot of the trees were lost because of that reason. And mainly the type is the elm tree instead of the Chinese elm tree. And we've lost, I want to say, probably 24 of those kind of trees. And that was specifically because they're very inexpensive. And so when this place was built, very inexpensively, that's what they put in first.
And also those decorative ones over there, what that's called, those are horrible.
Oh, ficus.
They don't survive the frost.
Yeah,
We've
we're
lost probably 35 of
working on that
those.
too. Your building was the first building that got them all removed, and you got them replaced with something that is good
Yellow bells.
for the. They're actually the Orange Jubilee.
Orange
So
Jubilee? Okay.
that front building was the one that has had more landscape added to it after the other ones died. Okay.
I have a question. Okay, we're ultimately seeking more green in that building. I don't know if I'm leaping ahead here. Do we have that in the budget? Is it something we can discuss, and can we make contributions if we would like to, if the budget is short?
We actually did put in the budget. Go ahead, Connie.
Well, I know I asked for 2 things to be planted at my house, and I paid for both of them. So all you have to do is say, I would like to have something planted here, and you can either ask for a recommendation. They try to go with this book. They have a certain book they go with, and then if it's approved, then you can have it done.
Okay, good. Okay, I'm going to do that.
But we have it done professionally by the landscape.
Yeah, you can't do it
architect.
yourself.
No,
They know
I have
where-
never done, I swear to God, I've never done anything contrary to belief about that tree that got yanked. I did not do it.
So you heard the rumors.
I did not do it. There was a water tap there from the old tree, and I don't know if a bird pooped or was the old rootstock, but I did not put that tree in.
It was a new tree, and it was the wrong kind of tree again.
It was not me.
Yeah.
I
So,
swear to God, it was not me.
so, and the other thing that I wanted to comment on about this landscaping is we really appreciate you being here, honestly. We really appreciate your input. We'd like to have you email us. We'd like to have you come to meetings. We'd like to have your input any way you can give it. What I don't understand is you all came from Building A. You're getting the most attention this year because that's where we're putting all of our attention is on Building A.
painting, and new dressers.
Where were you when we took the grass out of Building C? Why didn't you, any of you care about that?
Probably
is
because
it
it's not
only
our building.
A? I mean, is that all you care about?
Yeah,
I
you
mean,
know,
there's
it's
7
really, it
buildings
seems like
here.
I'm detecting a really sense of individualism opposed to it as a community.
And we need to be a community. We need to do what's best
Yeah,
for the
I
community.
really do.
We need to save money. We need to be safe, and we need to watch the liability. We don't want people slipping and falling and hurting themselves. I mean, not to mention that the city of Chandler's offered us money to take out grass, and we've declined because we know how much you all love the grass around
Has
here.
anyone ever been to any of the other condo complexes that are around this area? I just today went over to one over in Gila Springs over here. It's a new complex. I had to get out of my vehicle and walk to find any grass whatsoever.
And that is
And
one of the
then-
beautiful things about here.
Yeah, and you walk into here and all I see are dollar signs and how much grass and how fortunate that we are. This place, when you walk through here, it's like walking through a park.
Oh, that's why we bought it.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, I
But-
think somebody had their
yeah.
hand up, so Jeff, would you comment, please?
Going all the way back to not getting newsletters until the last 6 months, my family did not get newsletters either. So I don't think
Okay,
we.
yeah.
Can I finish? Just let me finish. As for the grass being removed there, if you want me to go back and dig the emails out, and I can send them back to John. Well, I'll have to send them through my father to John. There was a big outroar when this turned to River Rock, a big one.
From you. We
No.
didn't hear any comments from anyone else.
No,
Not even from that building.
when it got turned to River Rock, when all this River Rock was put in.
Oh, you're not talking about last
Yeah,
year.
that's when the
that's a
grass
great
was.
before
I'm
that.
just-
That's history, Jeff. We can't do anything about it except for convert it back to what we're trying to do for your building first. We're trying to give you that granite that's not going to absorb it. It's supposed to let it get reflected.
So actually, I wasn't part of the River Rock decision, but I know the people that they did it because they had seen it somewhere, and when it got wet, it was so beautiful, and they thought it would look so nice with the gray. They didn't realize that it held so much heat.
But
But anyway.
here's what's a little bit confusing is that your comment or a comment was that the board, and I